Perfect.
What's up, guys? I'm Haley the Horrornaut, and I am so freaking excited because, for one, this is my first episode of my podcast, The Horrornaut, and what we're going to be doing is exploring literally the voids of horrors. This is my little space on Project Nerd where I can talk about the things that don't usually get talked about with horror: movies, games, books. But I'm super excited about this episode because it's super near and dear to my heart. It is about weed. I have like a little, not list, but a little compile of every movie that I like to watch when I'm high, or movies that I watch with my friends when we're like, a little bit lit off the edible and want to watch something scary. So hopefully I have a little bit of info for you guys on how to pick a good movie for when you're stoned. Okay, so when I started making this list of movies to watch while high, to me, there's a lot of different things that go into this. And for some reason, when I look online and I type in like movies to watch while high, it's always horror movies that like are about weed or have like weed themes already. Which, me being a real life like stoner, I don't necessarily care if a movie is about weed to be into it while I'm high. I feel like the actual like themes and colors of the movie is what's important. So I've narrowed down like basically 5 different categories you can put like stoner movies into. Funny, it has to be easy to follow and entertaining at the same time. Maybe aesthetically pleasing, brain stimulating, and overall just an easy watch. But for funny movies, I've got Cabin in the Woods, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Zombieland, Scream, and Scary Movie. So I knew this category would kind of like everybody would already know about these movies, but they're just a good, easy horror movies to sit there and laugh with your friends. I can literally count how many times I've watched Scream with a group of people, and it was so much fun. There's so many different scenes you can laugh at in these movies, especially Cabin in the Woods. It's scary, it's funny, does include a stoner also. So if you do have that friend who's like worried about a stoner movie not including a stoner, there you go. You've got a main character who smokes weed out of a coffee bong. Everybody's seen Zombieland and Scary Movie, but I knew I should include those in the funny list because they are absolutely hilarious. And, some people might not have seen those because not everybody watches funny horror movies. Easy to follow and entertaining. This is super important to me. When I'm high, I realize that I don't always pay attention to the movie like the way I need to. And that can kind of be a problem because I'll miss like important parts. And then I go back and I'm like, wait, what just happened? It freaking is really annoying. But there's a couple of like easy movies you can watch and enjoy and also like not really watch it that intensely at the same time. Legion is a really good example of this movie. It's not even really considered a horror movie. Y'all remember when they played it on FX like 6 years ago, 24/7 like on the channel for some reason? But it's like this apocalyptic like angel and demon kind of story, but it's really good. And it's a good story, but it's a simple watch. Like you don't have to be like freaking glued to the screen to enjoy it. And it's also kind of like creepy and scary at the same time. I also have The Ritual on here. That's that movie, where the guys are hiking in the woods and they see that freaking awesome Wendigo. One of my favorite character designs of like all time. Seriously, that is the craziest monster I've ever seen. But I put that movie on the list because it is kind of simple. It does have a good story, but at the same time, again, just like Legion, it's an easy watch. It's not something that's too intricate. I also have Creep and both the VHSs on this particular category because those are 2 really, really good movies and they're really fast paced, which is another important thing to me, is keeping your entertainment. They whole entire watch. Also, if you guys haven't watched Creep, that movie is so underrated. It's really good. It's a more of a psychological horror. It's not a gore fest type film. It's a slow burn, really good story, and the main villain or character, or whatever he is freaking terrifying without being like terrifying at all. Yeah, the VHSs are pretty popular. I love literally every installment of those movies, and they're supposed to be coming out with a new one soon too. So if you guys have already watched those movies, you'll be able to watch a new one soon. And I don't know when that is, but dang, I would look it up right now. I'm not going to do that, but it's soon. I do know that. Next category I have is aesthetically pleasing. Again, this is a really important thing to me in any movie. Nowadays, I've kind of realized people are focusing too much on aesthetics rather than the story, but good thing that's not important in this conversation. But I have Midsummer and Mandy for this category. Mandy is a incredibly beautiful movie starring Nicolas Cage, but the story is kind of hard to follow, in my opinion, which also might be another good reason to be stoned to understand all the metaphors and like the uses of color in this movie. But again, I loved it, and I feel like every movie that Nick Cage is in is worth a watch. It's super, super trippy and kind of hard to understand. Willys Wonderland is another good one for this one. It's so weird, and yet starring Nick Cage, it just makes it great. And it's absolutely beautiful, trippy, and like a cool, not try too hard way, which I love that in a movie. When it tries too hard to be trippy, I just can't watch it because like the colors are all over the place and it doesn't make sense because I'm trying to like, oh, what does red mean? What does purple mean? Are they trying to set a mood, you know? And Midsummer is another aesthetically pleasing movie that's a really good watch when you're stoned because it's got a really great story about a girl who's trying to break free of her shitty relationship with this like asshole narcissist boyfriend she has, while also being super beautiful in Sweden with a bunch of flowers and fields and bodies falling off of cliffs. And it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. And every time I'm high, I always sort of gravitate to Midsummer. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because of Ari Aster and his incredible directing. Next category is brain stimulating. I don't know how, if everybody like kind of gets the same when they're high or not, but I personally like movies where I cannot understand what's going on, so I have to think about it for the next like 5 days. Saint Maud. I watched that movie when I was sober, and I watched it when I was not sober on the marijuana, and it was like the whole movie just like made sense. Like it was like I was focusing too hard on what I was watching rather than what I wasn't watching, which is the really cool part about Saint Maud. And I try to recommend this movie to literally everyone. I think it's fucking awesome. It's one of the best horror movies to come out in the past 5 years, I'd say easily. The Circle is another good movie that's kind of brain stimulating. Any of these weird movies where people get like thrown into captivity and are trying to figure out how to get out. I personally love those when I'm high because you're trying to like race to figure out what's going on. And that's a good way to get into the movie. Also keep everybody else engaged because normally when you're smoking, you're with other people. You're not by yourself. Or maybe you're a lonely stoner like Kid Cudi and you do smoke by yourself. But yeah, if you do have friends over, this is a movie I would 100% recommend. And not a lot of people have seen it, but I always keep this in my arsenal as good movies to recommend to people. Everyone kind of tends to like it. If you don't, you suck, because it's my opinion. I'm just kidding. I also have His House for brain stimulating. I came across that movie on Netflix like maybe a couple months ago now, and I was absolutely shocked. Just being able to see a possession story in another religion and group of people is super interesting because I'm so tired of seeing the haunting films and possession films with the typical white family and the little girl's all scared and, you know, it just gets old. So seeing everyone's dynamic in this movie and the way they just went about showing a family being haunted in a completely new light is absolutely incredible and completely mind-bending, which is why I have this movie under brain stimulating, because it is absolutely that. I also have another category. I didn't mention this to begin with, but I've got like throwback cheesy movies that like kind of suck, but they're also like really good because they suck so bad. Frankenhooker, Basket Case, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, The Fly, Society. Any of those good like practical effects movies I find are like super entertaining when I'm high, I guess because of all the like crazy colors and the weird gore they do. But yeah, is gore bad when you're high? It's never been a problem for me. Some people say that when they're high, they don't want to watch gory movies, which if that's the case, I feel really bad because a lot of these movies I have on here, hella gory. I just never think about that because I watch gory movies like it's nothing. And it's honestly like some people are shocked. They come over to my house and they're like, what the fuck? I love practical effects and throwback movies are like my freaking go-to. The weirder the cover, the more likely I'm going to choose to watch that movie. Is that why they made covers colorful too? They're trying to catch the stoners. But a couple of my favorites too, like I said before, movies where they have people like together, like doing weird like puzzle shit. I would love to hear you guys' opinions on good movies to watch when you're high. I literally called like 5 of my friends, like, dude, I need your opinion. Like, tell me the first horror movie you watch when you're stoned. And every single person was like, I don't watch horror movies when I'm stoned. So, but I know I can't be the only person out there that does this. So hopefully this few little list of movies will help you guys go out of the box. Get out of the box. Be creative. Smoke some weed and go Netflix surfing. You will not be disappointed. So yeah, guys, that was my short little list on movies to watch while high and why to watch them high. I hope you guys, have a little something in your arsenal. But yeah, I am super excited to be starting this series with you guys. I'll get a little bit better at talking the more we go on. But yeah, guys, like, subscribe, and make sure you follow the Project Nerd on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you guys for watching the Horrornaut. We'll see you next week.